I've been a Gordon Ramsay fan my entire life. Correction. Gordon Ramsay has followed me my entire life. Studies show that early childhood experiences from birth to age 8 affect the development of the brain's architecture, which provides the foundation for all future learning, behavior, and health. Now, that period for me was between the years of 2000 and 2008. But I want to go right down the middle today and talk about arguably the most formative year, 2004. While other kids were doing somersaults, apparently, I was going to pre-K at a Catholic school being indoctrinated by VeggieTales. I'll let you weigh the options there. Imagine how I then felt going home to watch those same vegetables be dissected and cooked by a loud, angry man on a show called Hell's Kitchen. To 4-year-old me, that was not Gordon Ramsay. That was the devil. Over the next 21 years, the world watched Gordon Ramsay become one of the greatest culinary TV personalities of all time. And I stopped going to church, so the past is the past. However, television history has shown us that eventually, even the greats will fall victim to their own success.
Can you stop slapping your meat? What are you doing?
Folks, that brings me to the phrase of the day. The goat is washed. Last month saw the release of Gordon Ramsay's new restaurant reality show, Secret Service, a surveillance-style spin on his classic formula. Now, when I saw the promo for this, I was gripped. It shows Gordon breaking into restaurants at night, spying on people, rats, and he's doing all of it with the help of a secret insider. Together. They're doing all of it, even the rats. It's horrific. After some more reflection, however, I came to the realization that my interest in the setup of this show probably stemmed from its striking resemblance to my favorite show, Bar Rescue. So I did more reflection on top of that reflection, and it made me think. I need to do more reflection. It made me think, I like this, but what are they going to add? What can they add to the existing formula to avoid a blatant copy-paste, other than this secret insider? I have to know! Well, then the show came out, and matters became a lot more confusing.
I'm on my way to Parthenon.
Sorry, did Gordon just open the show by outrunning the cops? I know it's called Secret Service, but I thought that implied he'd be working with the authorities, not against them. I don't know, maybe that's a little bit anti-woke of me, you know? Oh, what the fuck? What? Deep cut here. Maybe it's like a Watch Dogs vibe, you know? Imagine Gordon just driving around hacking streetlights. Regardless, we're currently watching this man hit $150 down the highway on his way to break into a Greek restaurant, a supposed crucial step in the process that I'm sure you'd appreciate some context for.
Sadly, when everyone knows I'm coming, they're on their best behavior. They clean up, so I have no choice but to go in late at night, early hours of the morning, undercover, and really snip around, really have a good look at how they operate.
While logistically sound, I do feel like it's a bit of a wonky moral gotcha, you know? They may have been able to hide their issues in the past, but this time we're gonna be one step ahead by committing a crime. Which, by the way, is like the most sanctioned and documented criminal act in history. They've got like a full camera crew with lighting and wires and shit, yet Gordon's still like,
Great.
yeah, man, I got you. We're in, baby. Woo! Let's, what are we doing here again? Gordon begins his investigation by scoffing at various areas of the kitchen, as he does. However, this time, it's in the dark. I think they realized pretty quickly that it wouldn't be entertaining enough for him to just walk around and point at dirty appliances, because it doesn't take long for his discoveries to go from commonplace to very specifically out of place.
But clearly lost its way. Look at this. What a freaking mess. And there's so much heat coming from here. It's still on. The whole thing is on. There's food in there as well.
Hey, don't touch touch that! That's a slow roast! No! Gordon loves to put himself in unnecessary situations for the sake of entertainment, and it's never been more clear than in this show. I mean, it is fan service from moment one. He gets up close and personal with a bag of raw chicken in both episodes 1 and 3, except in episode 3, he decides to shake things up a bit by fingering the raw chicken water, which I wanted to watch. In episode 5, he locates a mouse trap containing a dead mouse, which he slings to the floor and then presumably just leaves there, proving that even after death, your dignity remains at stake. In the 5 episodes that have been released as of me writing this video, the tone for the opening section has remained consistent for the most part. It's like paranormal investigation for germaphobes.
Why hold on to all this stuff? It's very strange. Do you hear that noise? What was that? What the? It's just come on. What in the?
So I actually think the best way to break the rest of this show down for you is to hop back and forth between my 2 favorite episodes that have come out so far, episodes 2 and 5. Despite only having a handful of episodes to choose from, I believe these ones do a solid job at demonstrating not only the structure, but the current range of the show. So with that being said, I think I just shit myself. There is one more aspect to this show that we haven't covered yet, which is the thing that makes it all work. The cover story.
Paul, you got me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Thank you, sir. Each and every one of these members of staff are under the impression they're on a restaurant refresh show.
My name is Patrick. I'm the owner-operator of Cafe Boa. Welcome to Restaurant Refresh.
Yes, folks, you heard that right. This staff believes they're on a brand new show called Restaurant Refresh. Are you serious? If you came into my establishment with an offer to be on a show called Restaurant Refresh, I'd say, have a nice day, officer. You have to be a different type of desperate to accept the offer from the Dollar Tree version of Bar Rescue. Or perhaps right next door. As lazy as it may be, this is actually good news for us, comprehension-wise, because it means that the next 15 minutes of the show are literally just Bar Rescue. Jenny and Patrick are co-owners of Cafe Boa, a failing Italian cafe. Hey, why else would we be here, yeah? Patrick, coming from an IT consulting background, has very little skill in the kitchen, effectively making him the weakest link in this establishment. And as we all know, men in this position have a tendency to cope by making everyone around them feel small, especially those closest to them.
The direction that has to be given sometimes is just quick and to the point. It's like, I need this now. She should take it as her boss is telling her something rather than her husband. Hey guys, try not to anything up tonight, okay? That's a joke, you're supposed to laugh.
Yet, no matter how powerful he may be able to make himself feel, nothing will change the fact that this guy is an absolute loser.
I got a degree in overall business management.
Chicken marsala and salmon to sell, please.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to manage my employees, and it's really hard because no one wants to work anymore. So I cannot wait that AI replaces cooks and servers.
Everything else is out of the kitchen already.
3 minutes away.
AI doesn't bitch.
15 seconds, let's get it out.
Patrick.
I do my job, you better do your job.
Yeah, sorry, I felt the need to double down. This guy loves AI. Look, he wrote a children's book called Hasta la Pasta, and, you know, it's AI. Yes, I'd love to support my local author and his AI book. At one point, a table of customers doesn't like their food, so he makes his wife Jenny, who by the way, is the executive chef, who by the way, doesn't know how to cook. He makes her go out and apologize to them for doing a bad job. So there's a lot for them to get done in the next 30 minutes of screen time. And as much as I love sitting and watching Gordon point out the painfully obvious,
Jenny, honestly, she should not be the head chef.
there is one more layer to this show that I think you'll find rather familiar.
Luckily, I have a secret weapon. My undercover diner, Rock Harper, and he can do something that I cannot do. Taste everything on that menu and give live feedback.
Yes, folks, we even have the undercover patrons. God, if I see so much as a drop of alcohol on this set, I'm getting John on the phone. If you're unfamiliar with Hell's Kitchen, chances are you have no clue who Rock Harper is, but If you'd like to learn more, look no further than the first 5 episodes of this show, because he's in every single one.
That's Rock Harper, a prolific chef. He runs multiple restaurants. I have a secret weapon. My undercover diner, Rock Harper. I've enlisted the help of an amazing chef, a dear friend of mine, Rock Harper. Rock's a powerhouse chef, local to the area. Now, I've got a secret weapon on my sleeve. I've enlisted the help of Rock Harper.
I have only watched this guy get fucked over for the past month, particularly in this episode. Gordon finds a bucket of room temperature meatballs in his initial investigation, and then the next day, he watches as they are ordered, prepared, served, and eaten.
Okay, let's go in.
Rock, do not eat the meatballs.
Oh shit, did he do it? Did he put it in his mouth? Rock, don't eat that. It seems like the angle Gordon is going for here is like, oh, are they really gonna go through with it? Are they really gonna go through with serving the rancid meatballs? Which I get, but also it's like, fucking duh, they're gonna go through with it. It's in their kitchen. You're kind of just answering your own questions here. When you separate the initial investigation from day one, it takes away a lot of the chaos and suspense from moments like this. They don't feel as useful. To be frank, even though my name is Andy, I'd go as far as saying that this just feels like human sacrifice. I drink cold brew coffee every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And as much as I love going to coffee shops, that's a little expensive. And I certainly don't like going to the grocery store because the pre-bottled cold brew, it all tastes the same. Has anyone ever realized that? Well, allow me to alleviate that pain by introducing you to Trade, the sponsor of today's video. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the US, not just for hot coffee drinkers, not just for cold coffee drinkers, but both. They've teamed up with 15 expert roasters from across the country to curate a specific cold brew collection. Literally beans that are made for cold brew. Like, you know it's going to taste the way you want it to taste. I'm sorry, I need to calm down. Trade sent me a bag of Portrait Coffee. This is actually a coffee company in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a huge fan of dark roasts. This one is pretty dark, so if you end up getting your hands on this, I would highly suggest. Also, for a limited time, Trade is giving away free Hario cold brew makers when you sign up for the cold brew subscription at drinktrade.com/Andy King. So I would highly suggest that if you like coffee, if you want the free maker, and if you want to continue to enjoy coffee from around the country, I would say that you should go to drinktrade.com/Andy King. Things pick back up when Gordon finally makes his entrance to let the staff know that they're cooked.
All of you want the impression that this is some renovation show? I want to cut the BS. It's not real. I know you're into AI and you think one day that bots are going to be in your kitchen and you prefer them over human talent.
They already got robots cooking, so who knows?
They've already got robots cooking. And that's maybe why you have robotic food, because you're thinking like one. You should be ashamed.
I'm not ashamed of the 4.6 Google rating I have.
Okay, here we
read
go,
'em.
baby! 4.6. So my apologies, sir. These conversations are very entertaining, okay? We're well aware of that. However, it is at this point in each episode that the show pulls its dirty little bait and switch. See, when I began my research on Secret Service, I went in with the expectation that it would mimic Bar Rescue in many ways, and I was correct. What I was not expecting was a 180 script flip halfway through the episode that essentially carries out the rest of the story under the model of one of John Taffer's other shows, Marriage Rescue. We'll get back to Cafe Boa in a moment, but I think the second half of episode 5 will give you a better idea of just how broken this concept is. Episode 5 takes us to Marvel Ranch in Reading, Pennsylvania, a well-known community spot that is, you guessed it, struggling.
Reading. I know it's Reading. It's Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm sorry.
Why don't we just go ahead and speed run the investigation on this one?
Is that? They're mice droppings. It's like an apocalypse of turds. It stinks. Dear, oh dear. There's sesame seeds and milk mixed together. Look at the state of that. This is disgusting. How disgusting is that? Honestly, this place is disgusting.
Holy shit! Say it one more time! Because what's interesting about this place is the staff. And I say that because they actually have a lot of fun together. Despite the restaurant's issues, the staff unanimously agrees on the fact that the only reason they've stayed as long as they have is to support the owner, Cheryl, who is currently in serious debt. Unfortunately, the fun often bleeds into the work, and at the end of the day, they just don't work well as a professional kitchen team. I wasn't originally planning on pointing anything out in the meal recon section here, but I keep coming back to this moment. You just have to watch. It's so gross.
They're sending this back. They said it didn't taste good.
Ah, no! What is he doing? A heated argument in the, hey look, it's Rock Harper. A heated argument in the kitchen finally brings Gordon inside to have his cheeky standoff with the staff, bringing us to the episode's midpoint. And I do mean that quite literally, because as I said before, from this point on, each episode gets very mid. Look at this, restaurant status, lack of self-discipline.
Kenny, this is serious. It's not funny, Kenny.
All right.
It's not funny.
He ends up having to call a break from the group convo and pulls one of the cooks who started the argument, Kenny, into the other room to chat. Guys, I can't make this up. In a span of about 3.5 minutes, Kenny is upgraded from disgruntled line cook to straight up running the kitchen.
What's wrong with me? You're coming at me like this is my restaurant. I am not in charge of anybody in here.
Nothing's perfect, right?
Right.
I'm not here to rub your face in it. Let's get that absolutely clear. But I do want you to step up. I suppose what I'm looking for is someone to lead the charge. Can you lead that charge?
Yeah, give it my best.
However, that was 3.5 minutes of just talking, leaving us with only 15 minutes of screen time left in the episode. So we gotta hit the ground running. Let's see, mission objective, help staff to be more professional. Okay, show Cheryl she needs to be the boss. All right, pretty general, but I'll, oh. Bouncy house.
Right, who'd like to go first?
Me.
Let's go. Step up. Let's go.
That makes a lot of sense to me. We'll wrestle around in the kitchen on a daily basis, you know, but that's not the place to do it. Do the roughhousing at the park, not in a restaurant environment.
Yeah, man, you're pushing 40. That should be pretty goddamn obvious. It's so funny to me that of everyone in the staff, the guy who needs to learn the lesson about horseplay is this guy, and not the literal high schoolers. Right? Like, why are we praising this? What are we realistically achieving here? Once again, it just feels like this show is a series of no-brainer questions answered in the most elaborate way possible. It does give Gordon another opportunity to have a sidebar with Cheryl, but we're just talking. To be fair, they are talking about Cheryl taking a step back, which is a conversation that needed to be had, but by the time we get to the end of that little number, we're 10 minutes away from the end of the episode. Can we get one thing done?
Here we go.
Thank you.
Oh my God, are you fucking serious? Not that these people don't deserve this. But what have they done to deserve this? Since Gordon's arrival, we have been shown 3 conversations and a field day. I don't even feel like I deserve to see this right now as the viewer. It's gorgeous. It's so ironic too, because every time Gordon comes in to do his big reveal, he'll say something like,
All of you want the impression that this is some renovation show? I want to cut the BS. It's not real.
but from everything I've been shown so far, I'm inclined to think that it's very real. Sidebar for a moment here. Is that lipstick on this guy's neck? Am I crazy? Anyway, yeah, what the hell, dude? Now you want to show them how to cook an omelet? They already know how to cook an omelet. For context, that wasn't the issue. The issue is that they were pre-making and microwaving them before. It just feels like the priorities aren't straight here. Hey, speaking of priorities, anyone else like completely forget what this show is about?
No, I've had the most extraordinary insight from my insider. Can the insider make themselves known?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. The staff did make it pretty clear that they were all there for Cheryl, and I certainly wouldn't expect 2 high schoolers to give enough of a shit about their job to reach out to Gordon Ramsay. Regardless, I'm happy for them. Locals on Reddit seem to be reporting good things. They've got a nice place. They're using it to their advantage. Not really sure how we got here, but great! Now let's go back to episode 2.
Why would you do that? I'm trying to have a conversation with them, and you're going to be in my ear?
I barely said anything.
Yeah, this is looking bad. Can we get the bouncy house ready? Now understanding how this show works, we know that in the next 20 minutes, Gordon is going to have to convince himself and the audience that this couple is fit to continue running a restaurant together. He begins this seemingly impossible feat by sitting down for a conversation with Jenny, where we learn that they also have a 3-year-old daughter that Jenny wants to be spending more time with. This effectively flips the narrative from "can we do this" to "we need to do this," which is very smart because I can tell you right now, you weren't gonna get anyone to like Patrick.
We both want to be there for Charlotte more. I can't do this anymore where I just get her up in the morning and then I put her to bed at night. You need to change. At least
All I do is change.
Oh my
Patrick, you need to
God.
listen to
If there's anything this show has taught me, however, even the worst of situations can be mended with a field trip. This time Gordon takes them on a hike, which at first I thought was a little aimless until he introduced the twist. That's when I realized he was really out of options.
How weighed down do you feel in that restaurant?
very weighed down.
The real purpose of this hike is for Patrick to understand just how much he's weighing down on his wife, Jenny. Each one of those heavy rocks is representing a burden, and I'm here to lift that burden.
If watching your wife carry a backpack full of rocks up a hill like Jesus of Nazareth is what you need to start treating her better, you should have your wiener surgically removed. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to let this lesson learned analogy distract me from the facts. Jenny was pleading with him in tears for the sake of their child, and he brushed her off. This is not progress.
We both just did the same hike, but her hike was much, much harder because of the weight she was carrying. I would have gladly taken that weight off her shoulders and carried it up this mountain.
Man, shut your bitch ass.
But congratulations on your brand new restaurant, folks. Remember all the work we did on that mountain for your restaurant? The concept is just so lost on me. They're pulling in so many elements from so many shows to the point where it just feels like a bunch of nothing. If he wants to tell these stories as effectively and ethically as possible, he needs to dedicate more screen time to the other members of the staff. Otherwise, we as the audience get put in situations like this.
Would the insider like to step forward?
That was me.
Ah.
I did it.
Of course. Gordon does 2-part episodes on his other shows all the time, and I'm just super stumped because you'd think, given the setup of this one, you'd think that'd be the standard. But no, he really is just speed running the hell out of some of these places. Listen to the end of his pep talk here.
One team, one dream.
Criticism aside for a moment, if I could give props to any moment in particular in this show's run so far, I would probably say it's episode 3 at Mrs. White's Golden Rule Cafe. Gordon actually tries to make a comeback using the name of the restaurant at one point, and it flatlines so hard. It's awesome.
Mrs. White's Golden Rule Cafe. This is like Larry's No Rule Cafe.
Mrs. White, the owner, is 101 years old. However, her son, Larry, is currently running the establishment. He just sleeps all day and eats donuts, so he, doesn't run it. His daughter, Kiana, on the other hand, is the most skilled chef at the restaurant and more than capable of running the business. The only problem is that he's stubborn and old and doesn't think she's ready. To prove him wrong, Gordon helps the staff set up a food truck day managed by Kiana, an actual productive activity that combines new food items with the new workflow. What I'm trying to say is, I think this show might be able to find its footing, but right now it is off to a very wonky start. When legendary figures like this produce new works, there's a natural expectation to raise the bar, so I'm not surprised that I felt a little jarred and confused watching this one. I would highly suggest going to check out Gabby's video on her channel. She went more in depth on the first 2 episodes of the show, so that's awesome. There's so much content from me and Gabby. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. I've been getting a lot of suggestions to watch this show for months. Don't worry. I hope this alleviates your stress. That is all I have for you this time, but until next time. Oh guys, I have a new plant back here. Is it like visible enough? Probably not. It probably looks dumb and stupid. Oh! All right.